Hello, good morning to all of you. I welcome all the participants over here. We'll be starting our webinar around 5 minutes more to go. A speaker is joining us shortly. I request all the participants to please stay tuned. We'll start our webinar in 5 minutes. Thank you. Hello, good morning, sir.
Sharaf, can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir, it's perfect.
एक second. You hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir, it's perfect.
एक second. मेरा इसमें headphone में क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? एक second. Let's do this one time.
Okay, sir, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, bit
Okay,
slow.
this is better. Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay, good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Fine, sir. We'll start in 4 minutes more, sir. We'll wait for a more.
हाँ, sure. इसको मैं screen को कैसे बड़ा करूँ अपना जो मैं आ रहा हूँ? Because I've never used this.
Okay, sir. You can find the banner top right in the top. Grid view, expand, and all that.
No, ये view, grid view. Okay.
Grid view will get you. You can use the next one, sir. Floating panel view.
एक सेकंड देयर इज मल्टीपल मैं सीख रहा हूँ इसको ये कैसे होता है आई सी ग्रिड व्यू आई सी मैं अपने आप को बहुत छोटा सा देख रहा हूँ इसमें
ग्रिड व्यू में नहीं सर वो आप यू कैन सी अ फ्लोटिंग पैनल व्यू सर
व्हाट इज अ फ्लोटिंग पैनल व्यू आई एम यूजिंग दिस फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम आई टोल्ड यू राइट देयर इज अ ग्रिड व्यू उसके बगल में है क्या
हाँ जी हाँ
ग्रिड व्यू है उसके बगल में आता है एक्टिव स्पीकर थंबनेल वीडियो व्यू देयर इज active speaker video view.
Please select any one of them, sir. Then you can find that floating panel view.
Floating what?
Floating panel view.
I don't see that.
Please select any one of the option from active speaker thumbnail view, sir. Please select that. You can find it.
Okay, wait a minute. I see grid view. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, raise hand. This is. I don't know. Grid view में तो ये सब आ रहा है बाकी क्यों नहीं आ रहा है exit floating panel view exit करूं
exit नहीं सर एक मिनट मैं अपना स्क्रीन शेयर करके बताता हूँ I will share my screen.
I don't know how that happens. So this goes minimize my new video. Okay, वो कहाँ गया मेरा वीडियो ही गायब हो गया कहाँ चला गया
Sir, I share one. Sir, I will share my meeting video.
हाँ ये तुम शेयर कर रहे हो बट मेरी शक्ल कहाँ गई
Sir,
okay, here I am. So this is how I look. This is how I look.
Yeah. Can you see my pointer, sir? You can find the floating panel view over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can select over that, sir. You can get the full screen.
अब मुझे पता नहीं वो कहाँ मिलेगा अभी मैं पंगा नहीं लेना ऐसे ही रहने दो उसको like this is that be okay
yeah it's okay sir
अरे मेरी शक्ल गायब हो गई मैंने क्या मिनिमाइज कर दिया अपनी मैंने अपनी इमेज को मिनिमाइज, अरे वो इमेज मैंने ना वीडियो मिनिमाइज कर दिया अपना। कहाँ से होता है ये, कहाँ चला गया, मैं अपने आप को कैसे देखूंगा? हाँ, मिल गया।
You're looking stunning, sir. By the way, stunning,
अरे
sir.
कुछ भी ऐसे ही बोल रहे हैं।
How was the
Stop
day,
showing
sir?
myself. You, I'm all right. I'm good. So we'll keep it interactive. Please moderate and please tell me the questions and I'll keep answering. All right.
Sure, sir. Sure, I will do that.
So we can do that because I didn't have this Coca WebEx, na? That's why.
जी हाँ जी. I was watching your videos, sir. Yesterday. I gone through all your videos about mothers, sir. Yesterday. About Mother's Day. That 61 was was
So how many?
great.
You've got only 29. You've got only 29 participants as of now.
Yeah, it's over here 29. We are streaming this webinar live in YouTube, sir, for the participants.
Okay. You mentioned. Right.
There are now 250 is watching live, sir.
Oh, cool. Let's do this.
Okay. Sir, let's start 11. Shall I give an introduction, sir?
Yeah, of course. Please go ahead.
Okay. A warm good morning to one and all. First of all, let me thank our honorable speaker, Commander Manish Tyagi, sir, for his valuable time to join with us here today. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Our respected speaker is a mechanical engineer from Malawi National Institute of Technology. Sir has served our nation as Commander of Indian Navy for 11 years. Currently, he is working as independent training consultant at Ground Zero Learning since past 8 years. Sir has also served as business head marine at Sudhir Genset Limited for 3 years. Commander Manish Tyagi is well known as the Knotty Commander. He is a stand-up comic, motivational speaker, and completed 14 TEDx and Talk speaks. We are really honored to have you, sir, over here with us. Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot once again joining us. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very good morning. I hope you can hear me. We have Musharraf, who's the host. He's going to be passing on questions. We'll make it a very interactive session. We are supposed to do this for 1 hour, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you so very much for taking time out to listen to me. And yeah, this is my new look. If you, this is inspired by all that Mahabharata and Ramayana and all. Okay, I'm looking like one of those mythological characters. Yeah. So we're talking about entrepreneurship and innovation today. I guess that's. Thank you, Aromal. Thank you so very much. We're talking about entrepreneurship and innovation. Now the point is, what is an entrepreneur? All right, who is an entrepreneur? First of all, the point is one needs to understand this from a perspective. Entrepreneur, I think, from my understanding, is somebody who dares to dream and has a vision of making it big away from the mainstream. Okay. So having said that, let me say a little more about myself other than what you've been told. Am I loud and clear, guys? Sorry. Musharraf, am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay,
sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So what I was trying to say is a little more about myself. I am an engineer by education and profession, like mentioned. I did my engineering way back in 1988 from NIT Jaipur. And subsequently, I was commissioned in the Indian Navy in 1989. I served not 11, 23 long years. Okay. So I served for 23 long years and I quit the Navy in 2012 as a commander. And the reason a lot of people ask me as to why did you quit the Navy is because we have a very steep pyramidal structure for promotions in the armed forces, which means that beyond a point, because vacancies aren't there, so only 30% officers get promoted to the next rank. It's not that you are not a good engineer or it's not that you don't do a job well. It's just that somebody at some point in time did not give you the enough numbers, ACR, which you call annual confidential reports, some marking 1 point less, so you didn't make it, which is fine. It's okay. That's part of life. So when that happened with me, I thought to myself that I could either stay back in the Navy and continue to serve and, then be there as whatever. Or option 2, I should get out of the armed forces and do something for myself and take that bold risk. Like I said, dare to dream, that step to get out of where I was and I wanted to do something different. Let me also take you back and share a little more. I'm one of those guys who come from a generation where all our, my generation was the kind of generation where mera beta engineer banega, my son will become a doctor. I come from that generation, all right? So what used to happen is that, we all became engineers. Instead, unfortunately, in my case, I lost my dad very early when I was in 12th. Okay. And such is life. So मेरे जितने दोस्त थे, they went to IIT. I still managed to get to an IIT. I don't know how, God's grace. But the point is, I was not one of those guys who was really inclined towards studies in the sense of, कि मतलब एकदम topper type. So I was always a backbencher, and I always, so I was a backbencher. But then I would study towards the end, and those days anyway. For you guys now, percentages are very different. I still managed to get a 65% in my engineering overall, which today seems like kitna kam hai. But those days, getting that percentage was also very, very difficult. All right. So I joined the armed forces because I said, yeah, I don't want to study anymore. But unfortunately or fortunately for you, the day you joined the armed forces, I did not know this. Yeah, I'm a backbencher, okay? Mohammed Wasim, I'm complete full all throughout my engineering. And so when I joined the Navy, I had no clue, all right? So suddenly we were told that we have 2 years of training program. So from a mechanical engineer, we were supposed to be made marine engineers. So we did a course, so we were doing parade, we were doing everything else, we were studying. So 2 years, it was marine engineering specialization course. I did well in that course. So what happens is when you do well in that course, they say we will send you to do a master's also, MTech. So I did not go to IIT, but we were sent to a place called DIAT now, Deemed Institute of Armament Technology in Pune, where they said it's a dual course, which means you do an advanced marine engineering course and you also do a master's in engineering from Pune University. Dude, मैंने 2 साल में इतनी पढ़ाई जिंदगी में नहीं करी जितनी वहां करी. एंड आई सेड भाई इतना मैं पहले पढ़ लेता तो मैं IIM चला जाता, NIIT चला जाता. But you run from things in life, but they still follow you. So that happened with me. And then subsequently my promotion didn't happen. So I then went and did my MBA from IGNOU. It's a part-time course, but being in the service, still studying, I think I got a distinction in that. So I was like, बहुत हो गया, अब पढ़ाई नहीं करनी. I want to do something different for myself. And when we quit the Navy in 2012, I said, I'm not going to get into a full-time job. So I wanted to become a corporate trainer. Now, the point is, I had no clue how corporate training works. I had no idea what it was all about. So I reached out to thousands of people on LinkedIn, connected to them. I met a lot of people. I spoke to a lot of people. And, so if I reached out to like 2,000 people, there were about 50 who responded. So you can see the percentage. I think that's what entrepreneurship is also all about. You reach out to 100 people, you'll find only like 5% people responding to you, or, you just need that one person, isn't it? If you are an entrepreneur and you're looking for funding, you need that one person. So I was like, okay, I want to become a corporate trainer. So that's what happened with me. I got into corporate training, and it was somewhere down the line, some years down the line, one of my friends. So my corporate training sessions were very funny, very humorous, because I think somewhere there was that funny bone inside me. So my friends, there's this guy from Bombay. He said, "Yaar, ye stand-up comedy shuru ho gaya. Why don't you do this?" So at the age of 47, that was the first time I got out of my comfort zone. I was an ex-commander, and I got onto stage and did an open mic. And before I did my first show, this was August 2014. Before I did my first show, I must have done 150 open mics in 1 year, which means every second, third day, I used to be doing an open mic, which meant investment of 6 to 8 hours every day, unpaid. So I would leave home at 6:30, reach the venue at 8 o'clock. The thing would start at 9 o'clock. I get my spot at 10:30. I reach home at 12 o'clock. I get 4 minutes stage time. I bomb. But the point is, I knew for sure somewhere deep down that this is exactly what I want to do. So entrepreneurship is, like I said, is about your willingness to dream and see, the point is, a lot of people today, like again, let's consider stand-up comedy as an entrepreneurship for a minute. Why do people want to do stand-up comedy? A lot of people want to do stand-up comedy. I'm sure some of you who are listening to me would also say, sir, we also want to become stand-up comics, right? Passion. Yes, of course, passion. Some of you would say, I want to do stand-up comedy. But the point is, why do you want to do stand-up comedy? Do you want to do it because, like you said, rightly, you are passionate about it? Or do you want to do because it's a hobby? Or do you want to also do stand-up comedy because a photograph with a mic in your hand will look very nice on your Facebook page and some girl will get impressed by it? Anything is possible, right? But the point is you need to understand. So that's the exact thing about passion, and that's the exact thing about entrepreneurship is passion is something which is going to drive you home, take you really far, real far. So in my corporate training sessions, I used to talk to people and I used to tell people about, because you've read this in so many places that, 98% people continue to remain in comfort zones of their lives. Like all of you who are listening to me right now, there are quite a few of you who will finish your engineering, MBA, whatever courses you want to do, get married, get a job. First get a job, get married, have a couple of kids, and your life is going to go from that 9 to 5 or 8 to 8. You will move up the ladder, and your life will move on like that, and it'll just go that path, and that's about it. These are the people who live in their comfort zones. So statistically, it has been proven that 98% people live in their comfort zone in lives. It's only 2% people who have the courage to get out of it and do something different. So I thought to myself that if I'm preaching something like that in my training session and I'm telling people to follow their passion, do things differently, dare to dream, I think I need to practice it myself to get the real feel of how it feels to become an entrepreneur. Like an entrepreneur, some of you might become solo entrepreneurs. Some of you may come together as a group and work, 2 or 3 of you, or maybe 4 of you. That's how it happens. But the point is, there are certain aspects of being entrepreneurs, yeah, and startups, yeah, of course, startups also, yeah. So that's where the whole thing happens. The point is, the beauty of being an entrepreneur and beauty of being into, so suppose you become into a startup and you become an entrepreneur, is that you have the liberty and the of trying anything you want to do, be creative, be innovative, be different. So that's where innovation comes into play, all right? You innovate yourself, you innovate your product you're selling, you innovate your product you're creating, and there is nobody who's going to question that. That's one very, very beautiful aspect of it. So my advice to everybody who wants to become an entrepreneur is also look back into do a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis means, how many people understand the meaning of SWOT analysis? Can somebody type out quickly? Let's see if you people can. Yeah, I'm sure you know, but just to get there on sync. What do you understand by SWOT analysis? Anybody? Okay, I'm waiting. The SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. Okay, that's called SWOT analysis. Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Musharraf. So you guys, all of you who are listening to me, and intend to, and whatever you do in life, it's important to draw your SWOT analysis and draw your chart and find out what your strengths are. If you are somebody who cannot work independently, who cannot take independent decisions, who does not have the skill set and the courage, and I would say guts. Entrepreneurs need a lot of guts, all right? It's a gut feeling. It all comes from here. Yahan main ye kar sakta hu. If you don't have that thing in you, then I think maybe entrepreneurship is not meant for you. But if you have the courage, if you have the guts, and if you have your self-belief that, yes, this is what I can do, I think it's a great place to be. Like I said, the advantage of being an entrepreneur is that you would do what you want to do, you would create what you want to create, you would innovate, you would experiment, you would do this, you would do that, and then create opportunities out of it. So let's look at stand-up comedy for a minute as a parallel comparison if I give. So when I was doing open mics, I would continue to do open mics. You know what I mean to say, for the rest of my life. But then there were some guys who walked up to me and they said, "Sir, we are not getting spots in open mics," because when I started out, there were like limited number of people who were doing it in Delhi. Within 1 year, there were like 3 times the guys. Okay, everybody wanted to do it. So if there are 3 times, but open mic पे opportunity तो सिर्फ 15 लोगों को मिल सकती है, 10 लोगों को मिल सकती है. So I was like, why don't you start your own thing? Why don't you start your own venue, start your own open mic. So they were like, sir, we cannot host. I said, I'll host for you. So for me, it was creating an opportunity for myself. And when I started ghosting, I started getting more stage time. I started controlling the stage. I started controlling everybody else's time. Nobody was controlling me. All right. So it became a position of doing 3 minutes where somebody will show you a light and say, okay, done, please carry on, to a position where I was controlling the stage. And that's where I created that opportunity. And that's what entrepreneurs do. They look for opportunities, constantly look for opportunities all the time. Now, having said the good side and the flip side, like, the good side of entrepreneurship, that you are independent, you can innovate, you can be on your own. The other side of it is that it is a very, very lonely space. It can get very depressing. So I used to do open mics, come back late at night, hit the bed at 12:30, and let's say I've bombed in an open mic. I would think to myself, कि यार ये क्यों कर रहा हूं मैं? Why am I even doing this? And then you realize, you wake up in the morning and you realize, no, this is exactly what I want to do. You then redo your joke, you redo your punchline, you innovate on the joke, like I said. And then you go back to the same venue and you kill on the venue. You do a great job out there. So you have to be mentally very strong to be able to overcome that failure, because as an entrepreneur, please remember, failure is something which should be your middle name, because you will continue to fail literally at every step of your startup. How to convert passion into opportunity. Okay. So yeah, how to convert passion. So first is passion. Okay. Like you said, so it's about passion. It's only passion which is going to drive, right? So if you're passionate about something, you'll continue doing it. Opportunity is something which you have to keep looking out for. It's a question of converting a smallest of thing which you see, and you see an opportunity. You think, so you have to keep your eyes and ears open all the time and keep looking out. Yeah, okay, this is something which somebody has not done, and you need to go and attempt over there. Okay. I'm looking to do something extra, but the problem is I don't know where to begin. Nobody knows where to begin. Rome was not built in a day. Nobody knew where to begin. So you will have to begin somewhere. Just begin anywhere. It doesn't matter where you start from. So like I said, you will continue to attempt. You will continue to fail. And you will continue to fail multiple times. And you will also fail in multiple ventures. Because maybe a particular, when you get into something for 6 months and a year, you realize, yeah, I'm not cut out for this kind of work. I'm not cut out for this startup. I'm not cut out for this job. I'm not cut out for this. That's what's going to happen. So from there, you will have to keep shifting. You should be ready. So an entrepreneur is somebody who's very agile, who's very swift on his feet and decision making, that if this is not working, I'm going to try to a point beyond which, if it doesn't work, I think I'm going to shift into something else. But I want to do this. Because एक वो नशा होता है, जिसको कहते हैं हम लोग, नशा होता है. So it's like that नशा जो आपको जब वो, when you get that feeling of, so like I said, for stand-up comedy, after a while when I started doing well and I started doing shows, then it became like that, that it's like, it's a hobby. You do well, people come, people respond, people clap, people acknowledge, people come and take selfies, people say, wow, you did a great job. There are people who come and tell me, write mails to me that, sir, I was very depressed, but I saw your videos and it helped me overcome a lot of problems in life. I think that is a big, big motivation for and inspiration for people like us. So the point is, we come back to that, is like, you need to create opportunities. Okay, you can start from anywhere you want. It doesn't matter where you start from. But once you start, because any form of startup, and thank you, Musharraf, any form of startup will have a lot of iteration process. Okay, it'll go on and on and on and on. You will keep making changes. So if you start from any point in time, it's like when you're cooking for the very first time and you don't know how to cook, and if somebody says namak swad anusar, so you're just gonna put some salt in it and realize, oh my god, I put too much salt. I put less salt. So you don't know where to start from. But once you experiment and you get onto it, you'll realize for yourself, yes, this is what needs to be done, and this is how it has to be done. So like we said, it is very important that you need to keep an eye on opportunities which are going to come your way, because It's not about opportunities knocking your door again and not knocking your door. But the point is, you will have to keep identifying that. Now, the next thing which comes into play for an entrepreneur, we've spoken about innovation. It's an integral part. EBIN, PM is our passion, money, what is important? Okay. Can you put that question back? I think, let me find where that question is. Is our passion, okay. इबिन पीएम यार इबिन पीएम मुझे एक बार को लगा तुम कहाँ के प्राइम मिनिस्टर हो यार तो सॉरी is our passion or money which is more important in your life? See, the point is, I always tell people one thing: if you follow your passion, money is gonna follow you. So there have been, in my case, there have been multiple opportunities where I have actually done work for much lesser money because I wanted that opportunity and I was following that passion, and it has converted into a much better option later on. There'll be many people to demotivate us, even close relatives and friends from whom we expect support, and at times we lose confidence due how to overcome that. That will continue to happen. Yeah, why close relatives? Your own parents are going to Athira, your own parents are going to demotivate you. And relatives का तो काम ही यही है. Their job is this only, to come and tell you, अरे तो they are there to judge you all the time. So this is going to happen. It's like, you know what? So all of you and all of us who have cycled in life, who've used the cycle, you know, जिन्होंने cycle चलाया है. One second, we'll come to that. जिन्होंने cycle बनाया है, चलाया. Everybody knows that when you've cycled for the first time, you have fallen down. And when you've fallen down, you have also had this thought which came to your mind where you say that you don't want to cycle anymore because you fell down and people laughed at you. That's what happens, right? You fall down, people laugh at you. But does it stop you from going and cycling? People who know swimming would know that at some point when they started swimming, they almost drowned. That's what happens, right? That's how it happens. You almost drown, and then but you still come up and you then master the skill. So these setbacks are going to be there. You need to get mentally strong. I can't tell you in next 30 minutes how to get mentally strong. It is something which comes over practice, over many, many years of practice, and over multiple failures that you finally make you get very strong inside. It can break you, it breaks people. Like I said, I used to come home at night and say, yaar, kyun kar raha hu? But then I realized I want to do this. Now, coming back to this question about, there's a question about how to build your own brand. The point is, when we were growing up as kids, those days, ads were considered to be bad. And our parents would say that anything which is, you see, anything which has got an advertisement is something which is not selling. But today, times have changed and we say, jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai. Now, there comes the question of how do you build your brand? Let me share my story in this. So, my social media handle is Knotty Commander, okay? I got this, I created this name for myself 3 years back. And it was on one of those trips we were doing to Dehradun. There was this young guy who was a social media expert himself. He says, sir, Manish Tyagi doesn't ring a bell. It won't work. So he said, why don't you do something, create a name and a brand for yourself, which will resonate with your past and also resonate with the kind of work you're doing. So I thought to myself, as a commander was very easy because I was a commander in the Navy. Then for me, at that point in time, I used to do a lot of 18 plus content, all right, on stage. So I said Knotty, N-A-U-G-S-T-Y. I said, nahi, wo naam theek nahi lagega. So then I thought to myself, okay, because I'm an engineer, the speed of the ship is measured in knots, K-N-O-T-S. So I said K-N-O-T-T-Y sounds a very catchy name. And that's how I made it Knotty Commander. Today, a lot of people recognize that name. Again, we talk about brands. Any brand which you create for yourself is not just a name which is a brand. It's the person, it's the man behind the machine, it's the person behind the brand which people remember and recognize. What are the things, some things which I can say for myself where today people look at me? So when people look at me, they say, Manish Tyagi, Knotty Commander. He will never be late. Whenever I go for a show in last 5 years, 3 years let's say in last 3 years, I've done about 300 solo shows. I've done shows in New Zealand, I've done shows in Australia, Doha, Hong Kong, wherever international. I have never, ever, ever been late. Okay? So nobody Shivani, will come back to your question. What are the mistakes that you've done and want to never do it again? We'll come back to that. And there's a question how to differentiate between confidence and overconfidence. Yeah, so the point is, I'm never late. So people know that this man is going to come 30 minutes or 1 hour before the show, and you don't have to, sir, kahan ho, phas gaye. No excuses. When I go on stage, I dress well because I know people are coming, paying money to come and watch me. I don't think I can go and wear anything and go on stage. People know that when they go on stage, they are going to get some consistent stand-up comedy. They'll get some consistent content. Now that builds brand when people go and start talking about you. Okay, you know what I mean? Overnight brand किसी का नहीं बनता है. But when you make a brand, it is you behind the brand who's going to be remembered and associated with that brand. A friend of mine, he quit the Navy long back and he's in a very senior position in a company called Rokem. Rokem is, they make RO plants like you have RO drinking water system at home. They make RO plants for, ships and military applications. The entire armed forces recognizes that company by his name. His name is synonymous with the brand of that company. How? Because he has been exceptional in customer relations. He has been exceptional in his performance. He's been exceptional in. So when you make a commitment to somebody, you stand by it. You don't make excuses. You learn to apologize. You say, okay, if you make a mistake, you say, sorry, it's my fault. Because in India, there are a lot of times you have a problem saying, we don't want to acknowledge that, we say sorry. So I'll say, okay, I'm sorry. But you know what? I'm saying sorry because you want me to say sorry. That's how we say sorry. So multiple things to be done out there, to be taken care of. And that brand takes a while to build because it's consistency, hard work, patience, dedication, everything put together. Overconfidence is always obviously not good because let's say you go for an interview and I'm interviewing, let's say Meenu, Meera, and somebody else also asked this question. Suppose aap interview mein aate hain. I'm asking a question. If you think you are overconfident, please remember that I know more than you. And I can see through that you are just trying to. So what happens with overconfidence is people make mistakes. People take things for granted. People think कि सामने वाले को कुछ मालूम नहीं है, वो तो बेवकूफ है. People think that, oh, I can bullshit and get away with anything I want. It doesn't work in the long run. People can get fooled by you once, or one person can get fooled by you, but not everybody every time. So overconfidence does that. The moment you go there somewhere as an overconfident person, I know, suppose you are a youngster and you join my ship as a very overconfident person and you join a ship, you don't know the ship. I know you don't know anything. And you say, sir, don't worry, I'll do it. I know you won't do it. I know you can't do it. And then what happens is overconfidence in the organization or with anybody, because you will not be able to, you will overcommit but under-deliver. And when you overcommit and under-deliver, there is a breach of trust. So if you are overconfident and you are committing something to me, but for me, it becomes very challenging. It will become very difficult for me to trust you in time to come because I know that you are just overconfident. You don't know anything about the subject. So what is the question? Sorry, Pudya Veeraji. I am teaching now, sir, but I'm interested in entrepreneurship. What are the basic ways to build our skills towards? So like I said, the skills, so skills are something which take time to build up. Okay. Skills, like I said, so there are multiple skills required: communication skills, your conflict management, your personality development, your oral skills, your ability to work hard. There are multiple skills which are there, and they can be built by two ways. One, you could go through a training with somebody, and then it's like you go to an engineering college. There's a teacher. There are books. He teaches. You study. People who work hard top. People who don't study fail. Everybody has to work on their own skill sets. So like I said, you will have to, like I said before, you will have to identify your own strengths and weaknesses and start focusing and working on that so that you are able to then work on it and build your skill sets. You should know what is missing in your own set of stuff. So there's a question which somebody asked, how do you, there was a question, how do you build overconfidence? How do you build confidence? Sorry, let me just try. How do we develop self-confidence? Self-confidence will be developed again, like I said, it's a very similar way. how to improve our confidence, also our personality, Smita. Somebody else also asked the question. Again, like I said, the most important thing is that a lot of us do not want to accept our own flaws. Okay. We don't want to tell the world, we don't want to tell other people, we don't want to acknowledge in front of other people that we have these flaws. And that is why we don't want to work on them. First, like I said, work on your strengths and weaknesses, identify your weaknesses, and work towards it diligently, hard. Diligently in a dedicated fashion. That, okay, let's say if somebody, a basic thing, if you don't have the subject matter knowledge, okay, subject knowledge. So let's say subject knowledge you don't have. You are into marketing. Let's say you are marketing a product and you don't know anything about the product, but you're just overconfident. You think that, oh, I'm very charming, I'm very good looking, I can sweet talk and sell the item. You can probably do that once, but you'll not be able to do that again. So, how does confidence build? Confidence, you can build your confidence by A, working on your communication skills, B, having in depth knowledge about your own line of work, your subject, whether you are marketing, whether you're doing anything, you need that to be able to have that confidence. So it's like I walk into a room dressed well in a tie and I want to sell a product. If I know everything about that product, I'll be confident. But if I don't know things about it, मेरे मन में एक चोर वैसे ही रहेगा कि यार ये पूछ लिया तो मैं जवाब कैसे दूंगा या दूंगी. So there the whole problem lies. So your communication skills, how you groom yourself, how you speak, how you smell, how you look. There are certain things about a personality so if they say that in sales training that there are some 10 things which people identify in 7 seconds, and ऊपर से नीचे people look at you, right? So that's what's going to happen. So if you're not subject, you don't know much about your subject, you're going to be not confident. If your communication skills are not good, you won't be confident. If you know that you're wearing something which is not which is not giving you confidence enough, you'll not be confident. So just work on those things. Will people with lots of experience only get to speak at TEDx? No, it is not like that. Not that. No. Not at all. So TEDx, they call you if you have, like, there are some people who are 16-year-old millionaires, okay? It is a question of what you've developed. I've had some friends and some, youngsters who are 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old. They have developed something. They've done startups, and the startups, like, there's this guy who does detox podcast, Kunal, okay? He's done some multiple TEDx talks because he created that. He's $1 million company, all right? He's got $1 million company. So there, he stepped out of his comfort zone. He took a risk and he created something. And that is why they call him to speak in TEDx, because he, as a 16-year-old boy, can inspire a lot of people who can say, oh, look at him. If he can do it, I can do it too. All right? So that's what happens in TEDx. So you have to be somebody. It doesn't have to do with age. It has got to do with what you are, whether you are whether you can influence people or inspire people so that you can be called on stage to speak. Okay, so the question is how to handle work overload. Parag is asking, in a given time schedule, if all tasks are equal. No, all tasks can never be equal priority. So you have that grid where you have something which is priority, there is something which is important, and then there are grids where something which is not so important, and then there are some things which are distractions, okay? So there are distractions. So the point is, if you don't focus on your important task, like if you have to finish something in an X amount of time, like you make a to-do list in the morning and you say 10 things I have to do. But if you don't do these things because you're busy on Facebook, you're chatting with people, you've got jokes on WhatsApp, you're watching a video, you've spent 2 hours smoking cigarette, you've lost time. The moment time lapse happens, important things become priority and they become urgent, okay? And then everything goes into a back burner, and then you realize you've not been able to do everything or anything. So, and then when you're not been able to do anything, you suddenly realize everything has become priority. So you should know every morning or maybe a night before that you create a to-do list for yourself and say, kal mujhe ye karna hai, in the order of priority which is there. I know it can shift here and there, but if you're able to achieve 70-80% of it, I think you're good to do. Sir, Dinesh sir, head of institution Kerala, one of the major problems I face is most of the students do not know how to face failures. Sir, there is a possibility that, because Kerala is situated in one corner of the country, and Not many of these students may have the exposure of the world because they are from, I'm sure they must be local students. I'm assuming, all right, they're local students. So what happens is they stay in very close family bond. They stay within their relatives. They stay all the time, they're all in a very close shell. So they're living in that shell for which the moment they step out of it and they realize there is a failure, they find it very hard to face it. So I think it's very important that you have these sessions where people can come and talk to those students all the time. You could have a psychologist employed in your organization. You could have somebody who could be a motivational speaker employed in your organization who can talk to students. Most of the times what happens is, as students, and I've been a student in my life also, as you've been, I'm an engineer, we didn't know whom to go and discuss our problems. If there was a failure, there was nobody who was holding my hand and who was sitting and saying, hey, look, it's okay. It happens. This is life. Don't worry about it. You need somebody to be there to listen to these students without judging them. A very big problem in our country is that we judge people very quickly. We start giving advice. There are times when somebody just wants to talk to you. Just listen to them. If they're looking for advice, give them. Otherwise, maybe they're just wanting to talk to you. We don't let that happen. You're not able to talk to our relatives and family because of the fear of being judged by them and they say, "Arey, to aisa hai." So I think you need to work on that, sir. Okay, so Veera has got a question. How to use our precious time as an entrepreneur and how to schedule and work smarter, sir? And I'm very happy like this seminar and entrepreneurship. So thank you so very much. It takes time to schedule work and work smarter. You may have to start. So let's say, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? Is my question. As an entrepreneur, as a student, as an employee, as a person, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? So you need to prepare a chart for yourself and you say, okay, in 5 years, I want to be $1 billion company. Now the question is, you need to break it down into smaller tasks and say, what does it take to become $1 billion company? It will require something. It will require manpower, resources, people, etc., etc. And then you will need things at every level. So in 1 year, I should be here. In 2 years, I have to be here. So if to be in 1 year, to be here, I have to be here in 6 months. To be here, I have to be here in this month. You know what I mean to say? You need to break down everyday activity and make sure that you complete every single thing which is there in your to-do list every day, like I said, and then see yourself down the line in 1 year where you are. Then work towards it, correct the course, focus on it, see where you want to be 2 years down the line, and then focus on it. Yeah, somebody asked me, do I have a team? No, I don't have a team. I operate alone. I'm a freelancer. Ajay is saying, sir, I want to open a gym in my locality. What things I need to do? Top of the banners, which brings me good income, goodwill, and do not want to degrade graph because I want to do something different. There's nothing wrong. Today, a lot of gyms are doing well. You will have to probably study how many gyms are in your locality. Second, you need to figure out how many people want to go to a gym in your locality. Because if there are people who don't want to go to a gym, then opening a gym is of no use, right? This is like selling a refrigerator to the Eskimos who don't need cold, who don't need, like they don't need ice. So if people go to the gym in your locality, then you need to do a market study, do a survey, figure out, go to all the gyms, find out what is the costing, find out which gym is charging how much, find out which gym has which equipment, all that stuff put together. And then you say, okay, I have the resources. Do you have the resources or don't have the resources? If you open a gym, you're going to need space, you need equipment, you need to invest money, you need trainers, you will have a fixed expense. And do you think that in 1 year you will be able to recover that expense? Only if you're able to do that, then maybe it's a good idea to do it. And then every work you start and do, you have to be extremely ethical. You have to have people who are dedicated, who are ethical, and there is no nonsense going on. Because in gyms, a lot of time, a lot of nonsense, a lot of ladies come and, all those things, some gym instructors are not the right people for you. So you'll have to work out on that and then have a plan and go ahead. Okay? Shibin says, my ambition is to become a Navy officer. What are the qualities that I developed for leading my life into the track of Navy? Which of them gives satisfaction, not money, the most? So first of all, if you want to become a naval officer, you have to clear SSB or CDS, whatever it is. Once you do that, then you will become a naval officer. That's important, right? So you need to clear that first. End of the day, bottom line for me, I like always said, for me, yes, everybody needs money. Nobody's saying that you don't need money. Everybody needs money. But the question is, what gives you happiness? It's a question everybody has to ask themselves. If I want to do this, because for everybody, the benchmark of happiness and success is very different. Some people are very happy doing NGO work. Some people are happy being Ambani and Reliance. Some people are not happy being Elon Musk. Some people are happy doing multiple things. You need to find out what gives you happiness and then find out what's going to give you satisfaction. Can you differentiate? I did that, Priya. Can you differentiate self-confidence and overconfidence? By example, like I said, if I'm on a ship and somebody like you, a young naval officer, joins my ship and who does not know the equipment, and there is a defect happened in the engine, and that person, I say, okay. So that person says, sir, don't worry, I will do it. Arey sir, main kar lunga, don't worry. I know that person doesn't know about the engine. He doesn't know, he or she doesn't know what is the intricacies and what is required in it. And I know that is overconfidence. Confidence is you tell a problem, you look at the face, the person's body language speaks that that person is confident. Okay. If something happens, you say, okay, yes, sir, we'll do it. And then he just gets onto the job and starts doing it. People who are confident normally do not boast. You know what I mean? I think I've seen that. People who are confident, they just go about doing their job, and their body language and their the way they work, you can make out they're confident about the job. People who are overconfident about the job, you can make out by their body language, you can make out by their, that they are not. How anyone can become an entrepreneur? Anybody can become an entrepreneur. It depends on Naga Prasad ji what you want to become. You want to start up, set up a, like our PM also says, if PM was background where people say, oh, chai बेचते थे. Somebody said, pakoda stall lagao. Somebody becomes a fruit seller. You can become an entrepreneur. So what do you need to become an entrepreneur? You need passion, you need a vision, you need a dream, you need to dare to dream, you need to have a plan, you need to have finances, you need to be able to get finances and become an entrepreneur. You will fail also. Most people do. But then you will have to figure out. Yeah, so that's where the question comes, how to judge our business model, whether it's success or failure. Unless you try, on paper, every business model looks successful. See, also there's something called as design for failure, okay? There's a term called design for failure. Most of the time, we look for creating designs which are meant for success. We don't design them for failure. So if I would say that if I am designing let's say I'm creating this chair, I'm making this chair, I'm going to make a chair as an entrepreneur, keeping in mind at what weight will it break. All right, my design should happen from that perspective as to at what weight it will fail. That's how the design should happen. Every business model will fail. It will need tinkering. It will need some course correction, like a ship course. You need course correction. It will need course correction. It will need rethinking. You may have to make multiple changes along the way, but unless you do it, you will not know. There's no sure shot success on paper for anybody unless you attempt it. Like a lot of people play paper cricket, but how many people play international and do well like that? So yeah, the question is convincing the investor bigger task how to crack it. Yeah, I mean there are investors out there, and if you have a foolproof program, and so if you have a foolproof plan, and you have something on paper which looks exceptionally good, and you're able to, it's your convincing power, it's your ability to convince the investor that yeah, why would anybody invest money? If I was to invest money with you, Mushar, why will I invest money? I will invest money only if I see my money coming back. And I say, okay, if I give him 1 crore rupees, in 5 years, he'll be able to give back 10 crores to me. So I'm willing to invest that kind of money. That's what happens, right? So it is up to you that you have a business plan which can prove. Also, a lot of people who are angel investors, what happens is they put money in 10 businesses. They know that 7 businesses will fail, 3 businesses will recover money, but it's your ability to convince them that your project is good. Is it time that we have to give more importance to life? Of course, life is beautiful, and we have to give importance to life, because especially in these times of Corona, where suddenly nobody knew about this pandemic. It happened last in 1918, the Spanish flu, where 50 million people died. And India, the curve doesn't seem to flatten anywhere. So I think the bottom line remains is that we, at times, it's very important for an entrepreneur also to be able to step back, rest, relax, and do an introspection about himself and his life. That's where the important thing comes about work-life balance. Because if you're not able to have a work-life balance, your peace of mind is going to be completely destroyed, which is not good, right? So what, for an entrepreneur, what should all we have to do? Like what all should we register? I don't know that, Charumati. You will have to Google up, depending on what kind of business you want to get into, depending on what kind of entrepreneur you want to become. Every single, if you want to set up a factory, there are separate rules, there are separate forms. You want to set up a shop, there are separate rules, separate certifications. You want to do something, there are certifications. Every business will be different. You will have to figure out what you want to become. Google up, search, and then follow those things which are there. Could you please tell me more about a life in Navy officer? How could it change the life of a common man? No, a life of a naval officer is his life, and life of a common man will be his life, right? But there's so much to Navy. There's so much to Navy. You know, it's challenging. It is. You need really strong guts. You got to you need. How do I spell it? It's challenging. It's adventurous. It's beautiful. It's got every element you can think about. It's not like, as an engineer, a lot of people ask me this question. You said, did you go and kill people? Did you shoot people? Nare Baba, I'm an engineer. Okay, my job was to run the ship. Okay, when I was on a ship. So you know, so it's not like that. So I'm running engines, I'm maintaining them, I'm operating them. I'm also taking care of failures. So it is there. So you have challenges of manpower, because you'll have to handle men on ship. You have to, if you're on ship, you're away for months together at times. Then there is this behavioral issues of people, etc., 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 which needs. So there's so many things. Okay, Basim Sapusre, have you ever thought that quitting Navy was foolishness when you faced failures? No, I didn't quit Navy because I faced a failure. I quit Navy because I wanted to do something for myself. I quit Navy because I knew there was more in me, and I knew that. So what happens is, I'll tell you what, in armed forces, if you don't make to the next rank, you will not be a frontline officer. You'll be there, but doing something which you may not like to do. All right. So what happens is that you say, it's not fun anymore. So my idea of leaving the Navy is not because of not getting a promotion. My idea of quitting the Navy is because I could, and I realized that I had something in me which I could do something outside and make a name for myself. That's exactly what I've done. Can you please tell about startup? What do you want to know about startup? It's a very generic question. Startup is anything. So this is like, you can go to Google and say, what is startup? They will answer you. So unless there's a specific question, it becomes very difficult. Startup is anything which starts, something you start. That's a startup. It's an idea, it's a thought, it's a product, it's anything which can be, that would be called startup, right? Okay. Musharraf, any more questions? Let's do that quickly. Then we can wrap up in 5 minutes if you're okay. My throat is hurting a little. Is it good to be an optimistic? Thank you very much. I have not spoken so much in last 2 months, shows are not happening. Is it good to be an optimistic in the background of, is it good to be optimistic? Of course, optimism is required. But then it's all about a balance of optimism and pessimism, okay? You should not, optimism is good because let's say, if you're going to get married, you're optimistic about having a good married life. But then back of the mind, you're a little scared also. Okay, what if the marriage doesn't work? So, entrepreneur, be optimistic, but be ready with a check-off list as to what things can go wrong, because that is again the difference between being confident and overconfident. An overconfident person will probably always be optimistic, and but somebody who's confident will also do a way, plus or minus here and there. And okay, will terms, policies, modalities from Google sufficient? You will have to go through it. It'll take some time. You will have to research on it. You will have to also speak to people who are entrepreneurs in your circle, people who you know well, who have already done that. And depending on what kind of work you want to start on, they are the ones. So you need to probably then go and meet people who are absolute specialists in that line of work and get their guidance so that you can do the same work. Because one size does not fit all. How to break our comfort zone? Is it necessary for success? Depending on what success is for you, Eben. Like I said, success for some people is घर में बैठे हैं, novel पढ़ रहे हैं. For some people, success is writing novels. For some success is selling novels. Some people is. So it's a question of how you define success for yourself. But getting out of the comfort zone and doing things, it's fun. It has challenges. It's on the edge. There is adrenaline rush. It's great fun. Perfect. What is the best method for networking? Networking, I think, is very important for you guys, because entrepreneurship and otherwise, if you don't have a good network, people are not gonna. But there are certain amounts of. I don't think Navy has a civil engineer's post. I don't know. Things have changed now, because मैं बहुत साल पहले I quit the Navy about in 2012. So you'll have to Google and find out civil engineers. But I think Army and Air Force you might. Army has civil engineers, a lot of them. Then you'll have to check. So networking is important, because networking, again, the thing is you should know where to draw the line. It's not like, if somebody, like, say I give you my number tomorrow, it's not that, Musharraf, you start giving me a hello sir, good morning sir, sending me jokes, good night sir. I'm going to say, yaar, kar kya raha hai? Why are you doing this? So networking is, keep it nice, keep it easy, don't. So I have always realized this and done in my life that when I made mistakes also, but then I met somebody who's, in a higher position than me in wherever, and I needed their help. I have never burdened them with my aspirations, expectations. I have never gone and asked them stupid questions. I have never gone and asked them questions. I have always done my homework and then gone and met them. So when I go, like they say, when you guys work tomorrow and take up a job, your company is not going to hire you to tell them problems. They will hire you so that you can tell them solutions. And you can only tell them solutions when you have done your homework and done your work and then gone there. You understand what I'm saying? So let's say a simple example. Somebody asked me here, sir, what is a startup? You should have, when you come for a seminar like this, maybe you should have done your research and Googled and studied and then asked a very specific question. You know what I mean to say? So people in your network are going to like and respect you if you have the knowledge. When there is a requirement, you go to them, they know that this guy knows his job. People respect that. People always love that. Okay, so what is the marketing guy saying, bhai? Good morning, sir. Aditya, being a marketing aspirant, I possess new and innovative ideas. Sometimes I even thought of starting my own business. So what's a better platform between digital and physical market? As of now, nobody is doing physical sales right now, bhai. Corona is there. Physical distancing is happening. You will have to figure out what best. Digital is a big challenge, but don't go unprepared and half prepared. Make sure because it's very important that, when digital people see it, when they see, they should find the product attractive, informative, they need it. In physical marketing, the advantage is that when one-to-one, you can find out as to how people are responding to your call, what they really need. Do they really need that product which they're buying, or they don't need it? In digital, it's all, somebody wants something, he goes on Amazon, types, picks up the product and buys it. In physical, it's much more fun selling. Okay, Ajay, let's do this as the last question, please. Musharraf, if it's okay. Is it possible if I invest my money in another city and country because I have relative and friend? Yeah, of course, why not? Do it anywhere. You have to talk to them. It's between two of you. Yeah, of course you can do it. Anything. It's between two of you how you want to take this forward. It's a business model which they should be willing to take care of your stuff and all. All right, guys. I think that's about it from my side. Thank you for listening, and I hope I have been able to answer your questions. Over to you, Musharraf.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your valuable time, sir. It was really an interactive session. We have many queries. Still up, many questions are coming up. We'll take it soon and we'll give you your network LinkedIn handles to them so they can connect you directly, sir. Okay, thanks for your valuable time. It's really an honor to have someone great as an officer from Indian Navy. It's our dream, sir, representing our nation in such fields, because it's been our passion, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. And I will, for all the participants out there, I will share the feedback form with you. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
A couple of minutes.
God bless. God bless. Take care, all of you. God bless. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Bye. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Hello, Exigoms. Nikim, ഇതിൽ എക്സിഗോം ഉള്ളൂ ഓൺലൈൻ അമീന
പറയൂ
ഒരു ലൈവ് കോണ്ടാക്ട് നിൽക്കേ Stop, yes, stop, yes, stop.